I am filled with the gratitude for the outpouring of support we've received from all across our great country. But the time has now come to suspend my campaign.
Nikki Haley's officially out, so it's game on. Time for the mano-a-mano throwdown. We're getting down and dirty. It's the final countdown till the election day. Are you ready for this fight? Nikki Haley, 2 hours ago in her home state of South Carolina, calling it quits. Her ill-fated attempt to be the Republican nominee in 2024 is officially over.
Good morning. Just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for president. When I began, I said the campaign was grounded in my love for our country. Just last week, my mother, a first-generation immigrant, got to vote for her daughter for president. Only in America. I am filled with the gratitude for the outpouring of support we've received from all across our great country. But the time has now come to suspend my campaign. I said I wanted Americans to have their voices heard. I have done that. I have no regrets. And although I will no longer be a candidate, I will not stop using my voice for the things I believe in. Our national debt will eventually crush our economy. A smaller federal government is not only necessary for our freedom, it is necessary for our survival. The road to socialism is the road to ruin for America. Our Congress is dysfunctional and only getting worse. It is filled with followers, not leaders. Term limits for Washington politicians are needed now more than ever. Our world is on fire because of America's retreat.
All right, listen, today's Unity Day, right? Today's the day we all need to band together. We all need to unify. We should, celebrate the fact that there's no more primary process. We've got an uncontested, basically, presumptive nominee. I don't want to dance on Nikki Haley's political grave, but can I just point out that the delivery here, this is a 3.5-minute prepared speech that she's delivering on teleprompter. And part of the Nikki Haley issue here, the part of the reason that she was unable to connect with voters is that, do you hear the cadence, the sing-songy, I'm your new preschool teacher, and I'm here to teach you about the alphabet. And maybe if you're very good, you can have a treat after nap time. She's talking about the fact that America is in retreat and our Congress is dysfunctional and we got to have term limits and it's outrageous and the spending and the... Our nation is on fire because of America's retreat. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, I'm sorry. I know that people don't like the fact that the advent of Donald Trump in American politics changes everything. But guess what? The advent of Donald Trump in American politics changes everything. And you can't go back to 1996 and be a Bob Dole kind of Jeb Bushy kind of John McCain. It doesn't work. We see through it. And that's part of the problem, the disconnect here. Is that she's running a campaign from a different era. And yes, I know that there is a double standard for female politicians versus male politicians. I didn't create the double standard, but it is there. And if you have a voice like that, it just starts to get annoying. Believe it or not, the American people actually do take into account the fact that they got to live with this person for 4 years. And when you deliver a speech to the American people on a daily basis like this, you don't actually come across as a genuine human being. You seem like an AI robot creation of a politician. All right, I'm sorry. I needed to get that off my desk because I'm glad she's out and I want us all to come together. I do. I really do. But I don't know if we're going to come together based on some of the things she's about to say. Watch.
Standing by our allies in Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan is a moral imperative. But it's also more than that. If we retreat further, there will be more war, not less. As important, while we stand strong for the cause of freedom, We must bind together as Americans. We must turn away from the darkness of hatred and division. I will continue to promote all those values, as is the right of every American. I sought the honor of being your president, but in our great country, being a private citizen is privilege enough in itself, and that's a privilege I very much look forward to enjoying. In all likelihood, Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee when our party convention meets in July. I congratulate him and wish him well. I wish anyone well who would be America's president. Our country is too precious to let our differences divide us. I have always been a conservative Republican and always supported the Republican nominee. But on this question, as she did on so many others, Margaret Thatcher provided some good advice when she said, quote, "Never just follow the crowd. Always make up your own mind."
I don't think Lady Thatcher made that statement in reference to party unity and building a political coalition to actually get stuff done and fix the problems in Great Britain. In fact, I'm pretty sure Lady Thatcher was a master at building coalitions, bringing people together and asking people to join her. And frankly, as the Iron Lady, using some brute force to compel people to join her in that coalition. I don't think she's really quoting Thatcher in a way that Thatcher would approve. Certainly not in this context. If our dangers that we're facing are so incredibly serious, as Nikki Haley just articulated, then why on earth would she hesitate at this moment to join in the opposition to the man who has brought us all of these dangers? I mean, clearly she doesn't think that Donald Trump is the perfect choice. But if she hasn't reached the conclusion that he's certainly a hell of a lot better choice than Joe Biden is, then what the hell are we doing here? And the fact that she's withholding that support and withholding that endorsement, you got to say, okay, the only reason you're doing that clearly is because you're trying to squeeze something here. You're trying to get something out of this equation. Okay, fine, I'll give you my endorsement, but only if you make me what, Secretary of State? Pay off my campaign debt? What? And again, this is part of the reason why she didn't connect with voters, because people don't trust her. People think that she's willing to do or say anything. I mean, honestly, if she's really going to be honest about where she has stood up until this moment in this campaign, she should say, you know what? If I wanted to endorse Donald Trump, I would have gotten out after Iowa when I finished third behind DeSantis, who got out at that time. No, I don't think Donald Trump should be president, and so I'm not going to endorse him. Instead, I'm going to, run third party or something. I mean, that at least would be intellectually honest, but she doesn't come across that way. She comes across disingenuous. So what's really her scheme here? Well, let's listen to how she finishes this up.
It is now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party and beyond it who did not support him. And I hope he does that. At its best, politics is about bringing people into your cause, not turning them away. And our conservative cause badly needs more people. This is now his time for choosing. I end my campaign with the same words I began it, from the book of Joshua. I direct them to all Americans, but especially to so many of the women and girls out there who put their faith in our campaign. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for God will be with you wherever you go. In this campaign, I have seen our country's greatness. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, America. God bless you.
All right. Good for you, and Godspeed. And it was a very classy exit there, despite my annoyance at the cadence and the way she delivers remarks. But now it's incumbent on Donald Trump to earn those votes, including hers, including her support. All right, I guess that's one way of looking at it. Listen, all bets are off here. I've been thinking about this, and I'm thinking, how could she possibly, after all of this, endorse Donald Trump, after all the things that she said? And then, well, I was reminded of the fact that just this weekend, Mitch McConnell was asked if he was going to endorse Donald Trump. The man standing next to him at this moment, John Thune, member of leadership in the Senate, he endorsed Donald Trump. So he was asked, McConnell was, are you going to do the same? And if not, why not?
Over the weekend, Senator Thune came out, he endorsed Trump. The other lieutenants have endorsed Trump. Why are you holding out and endorsing the likely nominee?
I don't have any announcement about that today.
He wasn't asked if he had an announcement about it. He was asked why. It sure looks like there's no love lost between Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell. Let's face it. Donald Trump has gone so far as to even suggest that Mitch McConnell is in bed with the Chinese because he's married to a Chinese-American woman. That, in many respects, could be a low blow in American politics at this point, right? So, I mean, we shouldn't count on Mitch McConnell endorsing Donald Trump anytime soon. Or maybe Mitch McConnell just endorsed Donald Trump just this morning, about 15 minutes after Nikki Haley made her statement. Will Nikki Haley endorse Donald Trump? Yeah, probably. Let's face it, Ted Cruz not only endorsed Donald Trump in 2016, after fighting on the floor of the Republican convention in Cleveland to try to steal the nomination away from him, and after Donald Trump suggested that Ted Cruz's dad was involved in the assassination of John F. Kennedy, not only did Ted Cruz endorse Donald Trump, but honestly, Ted Cruz probably became the most loyal fighter on behalf of Trump's agenda in the United States Senate. He was probably the most reliable voice of support for what Donald Trump got accomplished during his 4 years as president. Anything can happen in American politics. In fact, let's just take a quick moment and look down at Mar-a-Lago. While all of this is going on in Washington, D.C., and in New York, and in South Carolina, what's Donald Trump up to on this day that he has secured the nomination to once again run as the Republican nominee for president?
Had anything like it. No country has ever had anything like it. The number today could be 15 million people. And they're coming from rough places and dangerous places. And we had that shut down. We had everything going so beautifully. When Joe Biden goes to the beach, because somebody on his staff thinks he looks very good in a bathing suit, until he can't get his feet out of the sand or lift the chair, which weighs about 9 ounces. Joe Biden, if he would have just left everything alone, he could have gone to the beach. He would have had a tremendous success at the border and elsewhere. So we're going to take back our country. We're going to make sure we are going to do it right. We're going to have the greatest economy ever in the history of our had anything.
Oh, boy. So there you go. That's what Donald Trump's up to. Riffing on Joe Biden at the beach in his bathing suit, unable to lift his lawn chair or get his feet out of the sand. Are you ready for this campaign? It is March 6th. This is the earliest in modern American history. This is the earliest time during the era of primaries and caucuses to determine nominees that we have had solidified now the two people who are running as a Republican and a Democrat. This is the earliest ever. We now have a long, brutal march to Election Day, and it is on, and it's going to be brutal. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be insane, and I can't wait.